Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens buried their dead differently, the study suggests. Neanderthals tended to bury their dead in caves, while early modern humans buried their dead in the fetal position, new research finds. Neanderthals are among the closest extinct relatives of modern humans, but they buried their dead differently than early Homo sapiens did. This is a picture that we have here is a burial of a Neanderthal man at La Chapelle au Seine in France. So it's a fetal position, as we can see. Along the hominins, a group that includes humans and the extinct species more closely related to humans than to any other animal, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens are currently the only ones known to bury their dead. So they buried their dead means they didn't have funeral pyres. They buried their dead, meaning they probably believed in the resurrection of the body. Isn't that something? And the researchers said we know there are other hominins that had some mortuary practices that did something with their dead, but no others put their dead in holes and covered them up like we do, and the Neanderthals. Study lead author Ella Bean, paleoanthropologist, Tel Aviv University, Israel told Life Science. To learn more about the similarities and differences between funerary practices of Neanderthal and Homo sapiens, Bean and Omri Barzilay, archaeologist, University of Haifa, Israel, analyzed 17 Neanderthal and 15 Homo sapien burials. The burials ranged from 35,000 to 120,000 years old and came from Western Asia, a region that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens occupied at the same time. The researchers found numerous similarities between Neanderthal and Homo sapien burials. They both buried males and females and babies, children, and older people. Being said, both also buried items with the people. For instance, previous digs found wild goat horns, red deer jaws, tortoise shells, and stone artifacts in Neanderthal burials, and deer antlers, boar jaws, seashells, and red mineral ochre with Homo sapien burials. However, there are also some big differences being said. First, Neanderthals buried their dead inside caves. Early Homo sapiens either buried their dead outside of caves or under the cave entrance and not under the roofs of caves. Secondly, early Homo sapiens almost always buried their dead in a fetal position, with their heads flexed down towards their chest. Being said, Neanderthals buried their dead in a variety of positions. The data are limited, but this is an impressive survey. John Hawks, paleoanthropology at University of Wisconsin-Madison, who did not take part in this research, told Life Science. Notably, he said, there appears to have been consistent burial practices that distinguished Neanderthal and early Homo sapien burials. This is surprising because all of these small scattered populations would not be expected to share cultural practices over long stretches of space and time. The new study also suggests that Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens might have started to bury their dead at about the same time, about 90,000 to 120,000 years ago, and in the same geographical area, the Levant, the eastern Mediterranean region that today includes Israel and the Palestinian territories, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Scientists have long thought the Levant was a key gateway for hominins migrating out of Africa. This was our most surprising find to me, Bean said. Only after we finished comparing their habitats surrounding the burial of their dead did we find that all other burial sites of theirs in Africa and in Europe came after the Levant. Previous work suggested that Neanderthals and early Homo sapien exchanged knowledge in the Levant, Bean said, and if you were to look at sites where they coexisted in time in the Levant from about 250,000 to 50,000 years ago and had only artifacts and no bones, you would not know if they were Neanderthal or early Homo sapiens, she said. However, in addition to whatever exchanges of knowledge occurred between Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens in the Levant, the researchers suggested both human lineages may have buried their dead for another reason. We know when there are a lot of groups living in the same territory and there is resulting pressure over, say, resources, they start using burials to mark their connection to specific caves, Bean said. However, Hawkes thinks the number of sites examined in the new study is too small to support a single origin for human burial practices in the Levant, with dispersal around the world from there. The question is whether there is transmission of ideas or concepts from one single source, and the data really are not good enough to demonstrate that flow of information, Hawkes said. Bean agreed that the number of burials was small, and she noted we should do more excavations. Maybe in 3 years, 30 or 300 years, we'll find more burials and the implications will change. The scientists detailed their findings earlier this year in the journal L'Anthropologie. And this is from Charles Choi on Life Science. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.